In this three-part video series, I'm going to share the techniques that I use for processing my bear at home. One of the things about processing the bear that's most important to me is processing the entire bear. So one of the videos will do front shoulders, one of the videos will do hindquarters, and then the third video I'll show you how I process the rest of the meat on the bear. This video on processing your bear at home will likely be very different from anything else that you're going to find on YouTube or anywhere else, but I promise you, if you're willing to put in the time and a little bit of work, you're going to have a result that you're going to be excited about taking every part of that bear home with you. So let's head to the cutting board and get started. My name is Timothy Broche. I believe it's a suffering for what you take that is the true measure of a trophy. My style of hunting and fishing takes me beyond pulling the trigger, pushing my mental and physical capacity to enhance the experience of the harvest. The water and woods call to me. Okay, so we're starting the bear processing. And what we're starting with today is Preston's working on one of the stomach pieces. This is the piece of meat that is in between the ribs and the hind quarter that wraps around the stomach area. There's some nice chunks of meat inside of there. So Preston's just going to clean all the silver skin mostly. This is spring bear, so there wasn't really any fat on it. Clean up any bloodshot meat that's on there. We'll sort it out, these pieces into bowls. And we use this for part of the sausage, or we're going to grind some of this just into bear burger as well. We'll do separate videos on that. In the bag here we've got the stomach pieces, tenderloins, back straps, which is what I have here, and then the heart and the liver. So the heart and the liver basically are just going to get cut up into chunks, probably about this size. We usually use those as a side. The meat's quite rich. Not as strong as what beef liver or beef heart are. I find bear liver is a little more mild even than venison, but we just like to slice it thin and bread it and fry it. So just going to put it in vacuum sealed bags and put it in the freezer in portions about that size. Same thing with the heart. Bear's back strap is very different from a deer, and I'll show a couple clips of this. I'm not going to bore you with us trimming all the silver skin off, but as I kind of go through this, I'll do some cuts, some footage on what it looks like. But the backstrap on a bear is not just one solid chunk of meat like it is on venison. There's a lot more silver skin, connective tissue, muscles running in different directions. So there's only a small portion of it, just toward where the front of the shoulder was. That works out well for, actually this is toward the neck. That works good for steaks if you wanted to do that. But as we go through and clean this, I'll just show you what we're doing. You can see Preston's got quite a bit done on this one already. So there's a couple nice chunks of meat in that stomach piece. So one of the things is we always try to salvage as much meat as we possibly can from the harvested animals. But time to get started on cutting this up. Here's the chunk of meat that everyone refers to as the tenderloin. So this is the piece that's inside the rib cage along the spine in front of the hind quarters. Usually the most tender part of the animal. However, from a bear, you're not going to get the same result as you would from an ungulate if you're just going to slice this up into little steaks or make a little roast out of it or whatever. You can see that there's a lot of little muscle groups here. It just doesn't come out as good, but it's a nice chunk of meat to add in for if you're going to make stew or anything else. But we're going to cut this up and grind this into Preston's sausage. But I just wanted to show this to you because you do want to salvage this piece of meat, but it's just, again, you're not going to get the tenderness that you would from a deer and elk or beef or pork or anything else. It's just, bears are a little bit different animal. Their anatomy is very different. We got the initial cleaning done on the back strap, and you can see a little bit better about what I was talking about more muscle groups. So it's similar to a deer, but they're just more pronounced. So this is, again, up towards the neck. You can see this has got 3 different muscle groups. This one kind of goes all the way down. This one does as well, and then there's another kind of division here where when we talk about muscle groups, it means that the grain of the meat is not going the same way, which makes it even tougher. If you took this piece and you just cut a steak out of that, you've got grains of meat running 2 different directions. One side of that might be reasonably tender, the other side is going to be pretty tough. So, and as we're cutting this up, if there was anything that we were going to say for steaks, it would be just one muscle group that we would cut at 90 degrees or perpendicular to the grain of meat. This one, Preston's Bear, is all going to get made into sausage, so we're not keeping any for steak, but we need to trim this meat off of this, get the rest of this silver skin or most of the silver skin out. For grinding, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be super particular with it. Definitely need to clean up this side a little bit. But if you're keeping it for steak, you want to make sure all that silver skin is out of it, off of it. It's just going to give you a much better result. But I'm going to finish cleaning this up and start on the next one. Okay, so here's the part of the back strap that we were looking at a minute ago with the muscle groups, different muscle groups. So I just split this out so you could see. So this piece here is likely the one, after we trim the silver skin off here, that it would slice into steaks on this. The one thing about bear is that you want to cut your steaks thinner. They have to be cooked all the way through because of trichinosis. You do not want to have a medium or medium rare steak. So you want them thin enough that they're going to cook all the way through without burning the outside. So I'm just going to take this and cut it into thin steaks after I finish cleaning the rest of this off. So you can just see, I just take the knife and kind of follow the silver skin down. And it's just a line in there that you can follow really easily with your knife. So we just got this pretty well cleaned up and prepping for making this into sausage for the meat grinder. So with bear especially, you want these pieces reasonably small. Again, they don't have to be super duper clean. A lot of this, if you get it mixed in with the sausage, will cook out while you're cooking the sausage. Especially with bear, because you have to cook it completely to avoid the risk of trichinosis, which I've got a video talking about that. So I'll put the link for that in the description. But with bear, the meat is very dense compared to venison or elk or whatever. It's a little bit harder on your meat grinder. So you want these pieces pretty small so they grind up nice. And again, I've got some other videos on making burger and sausage out of this. So, but you do want to do a double grind just to give you a heads up. But we're going to go ahead and finish. We've got a little bit more to clean. I'm going to clean this out of here. A little bit on the back side. And then one thing in particular, just make sure that you get absolutely all the hair off. It's one thing that'll really turn somebody off if you serve them food and it's got animal hair in it. If you want to see the next video in the series on how I process my bear at home, click on the screen.